And sets another day. Billions will kneel and pray. Anything to aid escape from the world so cold and gray.
That's good, bro.
Why, hello there.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome to another episode of Bones and Tubs.
I believe it's 14 now.
Yeah.
Numero 14.
We're here at the studio. It's a kind of chilly, raining day outside. It's okay, though. We're in the warmth and comfort of LL Studios with our brand new Himalayan salt lamp.
Himalayan. Nice.
Gives a nice soft glow to the room.
Earthy tones.
It's beautiful. Suggest one for all of you.
Yeah. Have you licked it yet?
Actually, I did. I'm not going to lie. I did lick it right after you left the other day. I was like, I was looking at it and I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
It is, in fact, made of salt.
True salt.
Yeah. It's interesting. But, before we get started today, I want to throw out some thank yous real quick. Just get them out of the way. Let them know that we're thinking about them.
3 thank yous?
3 thank yous all together. I'd like to thank our first contributor, Jess. For her contribution to the podcast.
Yes.
It means a lot to me.
Cherry poppin'.
It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Second, I'd like to thank St. Catherine of College Corner for her contribution.
Yes.
I mean, we knew she loved the show, and now she's loves the show so much that she's given us money to do the show.
Donated money to our altar of truth-telling.
Exactly. And then third, we know our first 2 contributors. We don't know our third. And if you're listening right now,
mystery woman,
if you're listening, know that I mean, nothing against our other contributors, but this third one, we don't know who you are, but we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I mean, you basically, like, in the small scheme of things, you funded our show.
Yes.
Like, all of our expenses, everything. Everything's funded now. Like, I'd like to thank everybody who contributes has a small piece of making this show possible.
Shares, as it was.
But you definitely were proof positive that sending positive vibes out into the universe and trying to be a better person pays back in dividends. Big time.
I would like to say, every time I get the notification that we have any new Patreon donations, it gives me a sense of electricity that shoots out of my nipples.
Out of your nipples.
Actual physical electricity. When I was in bed, whatever night that was, and I got the notification of Evelyn and her $100 a month donation, I actually spit up probably an entire box of Lucky Charms. And I haven't eaten Lucky Charms in years. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there. We crossed some sort of barrier.
I turned into pure light energy for a few minutes.
Yeah.
And shot around the room. I went out into outer space, saw the Horsehead Nebula, and came back again.
Was the Earth actually flat and on top of the back of a turtle?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was so elated, I didn't even notice.
You knew all truth, but it didn't matter?
Yeah. I knew everything for just a moment. I knew all the truths of the universe.
Yeah.
And ascended.
Right.
And then, I felt my corporeal form call to me, and I had to come back to it.
Right. The body cannot exist without the soul for very long.
Exactly. My body needed me.
Right.
So, I had to return.
Thank all 3 of you, though.
Yeah, we like to thank, we really, you guys don't even understand how much we appreciate it, because, it lets us know that there are people who want to hear us and want to hear us do our show, and it warms my heart.
Yes.
And we just wanted to start with that. Thank you, guys.
We love you all deeply.
We really do. But anyways, so we'll get into the meat of today's show. I don't even know if I want to go over current events, because, is there really anything that, it's like the same old, same old. Somebody famous says some fly shit about the president. And
I got one thing.
Okay.
I watched the address last night Trump's address to
Okay.
Congress. I don't know if you watched it.
I looked at the highlights this morning.
I only watched, I don't know how long the entire thing was, but I started watching it around like 9:05.
Yeah.
And went until the end. And I just, you know, there's something in me that makes me question everything as far as like how much of this is real, all the way down to actual reality.
Yeah.
But that whole show last night, I do like that Trump is coming forward and giving like status updates like you would expect from a CEO of a corporation.
Yeah.
And letting people know that, you know, instead of just like making promises and disappearing into the golf course or what have you, keeping us updated on what he wants us to know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. Another thing is I wonder how much of this is contrived because the camera kept panning out and showing like, and I don't know much about this. I'm a layman.
Weren't they showing like Nancy Pelosi and?
Well, they were showing like the entire Congress.
Yeah.
And
Which that happens in sometimes.
Right, but they had them all. Are they always segregated by party? Is that how that is normally?
Generally, that's how they do it.
And 98% of everything that happened, it was like the left refused to acknowledge. They were texting on their phones. They weren't clapping. And then, like, the Republicans were doing repeated standing ovations.
Well, that's how the right. That's how the right was when Obama did this shit for
right.
real. Like,
I just started paying attention, I guess. But it's like, give me a fucking break. And then I watched the super long, sustained clapping for the wife.
The widow.
Yeah, the widow. And it was like, you know, I get what they're trying to do. You know, give her the record and the attention and all that for the sacrifice. But it was like, it looked like on her face, she was just like, make it stop. Yeah. For a minute, she was crying and like happy, and then it just kept happening. And I was like, is this fucking stuck on a loop?
Yeah.
Because I felt weird. You know, whatever. That's just
I mean, I don't know. I mean, surprisingly though, from what I read from the highlights, like, you know, even like liberal outlets were kind of saying it wasn't a bad speech. Like, it was actually like they like even liberals came most like generally I think they said 75% of people who like they polled about it said they thought it was positive.
Right.
Even liberals were saying it was a positive speech. It was something that needed to be going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Only like 20 some odd percent said no, it's fucked. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I didn't watch the Oscars this year.
Yeah.
Because it's like how much like I get it. People don't like him, and honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of him either. But it's low hanging fruit at this point. Like, it really is. Like, just watching people take jabs at him, it's almost like, and there's a reason why like he won the election, and they say part of it's because the media was harassing him so much that people felt bad for him.
Right.
And started to think, well, maybe he is onto something if the media is this hard up on him to lose.
Everybody hates the media, so let's go against them.
Exactly. You guys realize that you're like a snake eating itself, right? Like, if you actually, like, step back for a moment and realize, you know, he's not doing too many things. I mean, there are a few things I've already started to, like, be a little, like, upset about. Like, his whole, like, taking away the bathroom thing. It's like, this shit's ridiculous. Mm. It's like, who cares? Who fucking cares?
The free market was going to rule that one out anyway because Target was losing all that money. Yeah. You know, if you want to have that law or that rule, I should say, in your establishment that people can go in the bathroom and do whatever they want. Yeah. As whoever they want to be, that's fine. But if people quit spending money there,
exactly,
it's going to fix itself.
Yeah. I mean, you got to.
And that works in reverse too.
You got to figure out. You got to figure out markets and stuff like that. Like, it's all done to me.
The Oscars. Like, every time I hear about it, I think about it. I remember Matt and Trey Parker making that fag, the Film Actors Guild.
Oh yeah.
They just get up there and jerk each other off.
Well, it's like and that's the thing I wanted to get. One thing I wanted to touch on the Oscars. Like, someone asked me something about the Oscars, like. And all I could say was, I don't fucking care.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I was like, how many award shows do these assholes need a year to jack each other off?
Exactly.
Like, that's all they do. They make shitty movies and then jack each other off over about how awesome they are.
I can't wait to see Paul Joseph Watson's video he's making about Leonardo Dicaprio.
Oh, yeah?
You see that?
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio is a big-ass hypocrite anyways,
right.
So.
It's just like, it's not bad enough that you're a member of FAG or SAG, whatever, Screen Actors Guild, Film Actors Guild, whatever. Yeah. And you jerk each other off at these award shows, and every given opportunity, you just bask in the collective masturbation of everybody that watches you on a fucking interview show. But you're gonna step into the realm of politics and and environmental policy.
Yeah.
Eat a fucking dick.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things where it's like, I have a really hard time taking advice from a celebrity like, hey, we need to talk about income equality. No, we don't. No, we don't. You fucking sit in front of a camera and talk all day. You don't fucking lay concrete.
Pretending to be people.
Yeah, you don't pretend to be. You're not us.
Yeah.
Like, how many times have we seen, like, these celebrities act like they're the ultimate altruists? Like, they give so much money to charity else, and then you see them have, like, a complete and utter meltdown because they got the wrong fucking coffee, or someone did something real, and they just, they treat you exactly how they really feel about you. Like, you are the fucking scum of the earth. We are the fucking peons to be entertained. And that's how they see us. Like, don't ever think they think like us. They don't. They try. They try really hard to make us think they're just like us. Right. No, they're not.
Eat it.
After years of fucking getting copious amounts of money for doing shitty movies, doing all this shit, they don't see themselves as us anymore.
Last comment I'll make about celebrities in general. My favorite video last year that's a rise of a celebrity doing dumb shit that proves that they think they're better than you was when Ariana Grande was at a fucking pastry shop or a donut shop, and she's like licking the donuts on the shelf, and then decides that she doesn't want one.
Yeah.
She's so much better than you that you would be blessed to buy a donut that she licked.
Not only lick donuts, then talk shit about America.
Right.
Like, she says, I fucking hate America. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Like, these people, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, when you're giving large sums of money and basically giving the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want, this is what ends up happening. You go banana. You go fucking crazy.
Right.
People, like, you see these meltdowns all the time because they've lost their goddamn mind.
That's all it is.
They have no more anchor to fucking reality.
Right.
Like, when all you're doing is dancing in front of a fucking green screen all day, apparently you just fucking go bonkers.
Lose it.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. Like, they need to shut up. Either shut up or, like, completely quit their fucking vaudevillian fucking show.
Right.
And quit jerking each other off constantly.
I like to test this and see what would happen if I came into a large sum of money that was just continual. And I fully believe that it's not going to change me at all.
Yeah.
The only thing it's going to make me do is more free to be the person that I am,
Well,
I'm
that's
not
the
going
thing.
to be you're not going to see me addressing Congress on some issue, that I've not already held the position of. I don't know. We need to stop. I just flew there on a jet.
Set moon hornets.
Right.
That's the only thing you're going to see me in Congress talking about. And that's a general threat to everything we know.
We need to talk about these real issues. The moon hornets.
Yeah.
Intergalactic spider beings,
Like, okay, I'll give you one thing. Ashton Kutcher went before Congress a couple weeks ago, and he went on there and pleaded his case about child trafficking and child sex trafficking.
Yeah.
That's some legit shit.
Yeah. I liked his response, too. He's talking about the haters on the internet, the trolls, talking about keep to your day job, which is virtually what we just did to every actor.
Yeah.
But he was like, my day job is, and then he went to describe his job at the corporation he founded to save child sex slavery.
Exactly,
save child sex slaves.
Like, I get some of them, their hearts are in the right places, but like that's something who's gonna be like, fuck him for talking about like, what kind of piece of shit troll is like, fuck him for talking about child sex slavery?
I'm sure if you go to verped.net or .org, you could find somebody talking shit.
Talking shit about Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah. Like,
fuck them, man. Like, there are certain things, like, yeah, get on board with that. Like, or if you want to fucking help homeless vets, like yesterday, fucking, all I did was go to Walmart to get some fucking sausage and spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
And some fucking medicine for my son. And I'm driving in, driving to Walmart, get some stuff. I go in there, and as I'm pulling up, I see this old raggedy dude wearing one of them veterans hats. I think it said Desert Storm Veteran, right?
Yeah.
And he was sitting on the curb with a sign that said homeless vet. And I had $5 in my pocket. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to spend this on fucking something stupid anyways.
Yeah.
So I pulled up and gave it to him. Like, talk about that shit. Talk about, like the fact that there are homeless people in the fucking biggest economy in the world.
Yeah.
That's some real shit.
For sure.
Like, that's something, and that's bipartisan. That's not even fucking, like, a one-sided issue. We need to fucking address the goddamn homeless situation in this fucking country.
Right.
There are thousands and thousands of empty homes and fucking housing crisis bubble bursts all over the country that you could be putting these people in.
For sure.
I don't know. It kills me, man.
It's all the things that could fix these real problems that they don't ever do.
Like, those are real problems.
Right.
Child sex slavery and child sex trafficking are real problems. The homeless situation is a real problem. The heroin epidemic is a real fucking problem.
Yeah.
Listen, don't talk to me about fucking environmental issues when you're jet setting in a fucking gas guzzling fucking jet and you got a fucking super yacht that you hang out with your dudes on.
Right.
I'm not going to listen to you.
Have a giant fire pit where all you do is burn fossil fuels in the back.
Exactly.
Laugh about it.
Throw fucking tractor tires in there.
Yeah.
But that's all I wanted to say about like current events and current topics.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump right into the fucking meat of the show because Our Lady sent us a big, fat, juicy topic today. So, first topic of the day comes from St. Catherine of College Corner, of course. But she gave us probably the big topic of the week. And we've been thinking about doing this for a while. And this is, to me, this is the tip. There's way more going on with this than, we have time for one show on. But, St. Catherine of College Corner, she wanted us to talk about cults with specific attention to the children of God. So I guess we'll start with the children of God first. I did a little research on them because I didn't know much about them, honestly. I learned that they're still a thing, they're still around.
Yeah.
Except now they call themselves the Family International.
Family.
And from what I read, the leader, David Berg, started with the initial message. They're they're a apocalyptic cult.
Yeah. About
trying to get people salvation, right?
Via fishing.
That was the original intention.
Yeah.
Was to save people, right? And then it just evolved into the weirdest fucking gross shit ever. Okay. Then we're gonna get into that. Now, they like to close themselves off from society, of course. Most cults do.
Right.
They don't mingle with the regular folk.
That's where the Antichrist is.
Yeah.
Out there.
They call our world the system.
Yeah.
Okay. David Berg, he called himself, he had a lot of names that he created for himself. They call him Moses.
He was also the founder of the Institute. He liked to be called Father.
Yeah. He called himself, this is the self-proclaimed last end-time prophet. Okay. I'm going to jump right into this. They had this thing that they created for the group in the 70s. It was called flirty fishing.
Yes.
Flirty fishing was a means to proselytize people, which means convert them, right?
Right.
And it required that their female members go out into the system and try to recruit people.
How'd they do it? With
either flirting,
yeah,
or the possibility of sex, or actual sex.
Fishing with pussy.
Yeah, pretty much. They even they called them bait, the women who were going out there. They actually earned more points within the system for sex.
Yeah. With
people to convert, and they called that loving sexually.
That was their crucifixion.
Yeah, and to have sex was called deep witness.
Of course.
Deep witness.
False deep witness.
Yeah. But that also included it can also include oral or
anything that'll get the message out.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Anything to get the message out. They took this as far as they called these women within the group God's whores. Okay? And they recorded all of them. Documented them, right? It is estimated that they flirty fished 250,000 people.
Right.
Over the course of the 10 years that they had flirty fishing as an actual thing.
That's fine. This is fine.
Yeah, right? It basically, from what I read, devolved into prostitution. Mm. They would send their members out to work for escort services. And they would escort the women, or the women would escort men. And it got to the point where conversion wasn't the number one thing. They were trying to make money too, right?
Yeah, you gotta fund the church.
So they even mentioned that most of them, most of the time, they were going out and having sex with no prospect of conversion. They said that they only would try to convert if they thought the possibility was there. So they were just fucking all the time. Now originally they had men doing it too, but then they up and decided homosexuality was a sin, so they got away from men doing flirty fishing.
Yeah.
Real quick. Okay, so, and of course, sometimes they didn't believe in contraception, so it led to these women getting pregnant, and they called the offspring of these flirty fishing Jesus babies. Okay, so when David Berg died, his wife, Karen Zerby, took over, and she took the title of the Queen, Prophetess, and she named her, I think he was her assistant, Steve Kirby, her second command.
Yeah.
Right? And according to that, that was David Berg's wish for him to take over. And they became a couple. Okay, so the next part of this that I was reading through and it was really kind of like fucked up. It's the idea they called loving Jesus.
Yeah.
Loving Jesus, and this goes for men and women, was to act as if you are literally Jesus' wife.
Yeah.
Okay? You literally were supposed to imagine that Jesus was in the room while you were having sex or masturbating. And men were supposed to imagine themselves as women as to avoid homosexuality.
Yeah, you can't be homosexual.
Okay, so, like, they literally, like, if you were having sex or masturbating, you were supposed to imagine Jesus was sitting right there in the room with you watching, because he's your husband.
Yeah.
And you were supposed to act like a good wife to him. Like, in the biblical sense, you were supposed to be his doting wife. Which I thought was that whole concept. Like, the fact that someone, like, not only thought of that, but wrote it down and put it into, like, some doctrine was fucked. And then St. Catherine also wanted us to get into a specific aspect of the children of God concerning one Ricky Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Rodriguez was the son of Karen Zerbe. He was actually supposedly the product of flirty fishing.
So he was a Jesus baby.
He was a Jesus baby.
Jesus baby.
And they, like, sexually abused the shit out of this kid. Like, they got female members to come have sex with him when he was, like, a little boy and shit. And they took pictures, and they even published a book about it for the organization. And the book was called The Story of Davidito. They got accused of child abuse. So they took the book and they cleansed it and took all the pictures out. Because there's supposedly 12 pictures of them committing acts on him in the book.
What some people would call evidence.
Yeah. And so he grew up in the church. Like, he was Karen Zerbe's son, so he's basically the second in command son. And they treated him like a messiah.
Yeah.
And they abused the shit out of him for years. Because of it. Like, sexually. And so when he grew up, he finally split from the church. And he went to go he got a job in Arizona as an electrician. And tried to live a normal life. But, you know, the past kept eating away at him. And his mom would have no contact with him. So he tried to get contact with her, and he contacted a woman who was one of his handlers when he was a kid, who knew where she was, who was also one of his abusers. And he wanted to talk to her to see if she could tell him where his mother was. Mm-hmm. And she came over to his house, and he stabbed her to death.
Okay.
And then he shot himself. So basically, I mean...
Lost his fucking mind.
Yeah, he lost his mind. Well, who could blame him at that point? Like,
right.
Fucking... You're born into a cult, and I was actually looking at the shit. There's tons of fucking, like, celebrities and shit that were part of this cult at one point in time. Like, born into it, or joined it, and then left, or still part of it.
Yeah.
That aren't celebrities anymore, because this shit is fucked.
Right.
Like, totally fucked.
Would you like my opinion on what caused all this to happen?
Okay, let's hear it.
All of this was caused by a singular event that I found in my heavy research, my heavy petting of this topic. He was raised by a pastor.
Who, David Berg?
David Berg.
Yeah, he was.
And they said that, like, he's sitting in church one day, and this other boy comes over while, you know, the sermon's going on, and he, like, instructs him in the art of masturbation, which is fucked.
Yeah.
You know, why, first of all, you know, that's probably not the place to talk. Something's going on in that kid's life.
Yeah, exactly.
So, whatever that, you know, that unknown variable of that kid, he had a pivotal role in it, because I'm sure that started the ball rolling in one way. But the one thing that actually set this whole fucking wheel into motion was when his mom caught him masturbating. And remember, she and her husband were good God-fearing, like, you know, pastor's wife.
Yeah.
But they're also, in my mind, the couple from hell that Stephen King would write about.
Oh, so they're basically like Carrie's mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she catches him masturbating and then forces him to finish with his dad watching. So that's how I think all this started, because even toward the end of his life, when he was writing what were they called, the mole letters?
Yeah.
His publication where he would write down his drunken fucking rants about what God told him. He instructed female members to masturbate their sons to sleep, basically. That was like a church doctrine.
Yeah, see...
Sexual abuse begetting more sexual abuse.
Like, I feel like you have to have, like, for a good cult, you got to have a specific checklist of things, right?
Right.
So, like, in my brain, when I come up with the list, the first one is, do they believe the apocalypse is nigh? For children of God, check that as yes. King. Okay, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad cult. I mean, think about, like, Jonestown.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers, like, they were, for the most part, just trying to be, like, Christians.
Yeah.
Right? They were just, like...
Societal separatists.
They were separatists. but they also believe the apocalypse was nigh.
Yeah.
Okay, and we saw what happened with that. So, like, the apocalypse nigh, that's not the biggest indicator for the most fucked up cult. My big, like, red flag in my head is anything involving sex.
Yeah.
When sex becomes part of your, like, religion in a very, like, intimate sense.
The actual pivot point of everything you believe in.
Yeah, like, I think that's the thing where, like, because I think they associate, it's like you said, like, where they made him do that when he was a kid. Like, you begin to associate sex with religion.
Right.
And I think they're two separate entities. They should be two separate entities.
What the fuck's wrong with his parents in the first place to think that that's okay? That's a good way to fucking I'll teach him.
Yeah. What's that? Like trying to, like, you catch your kid smoking and you make him smoke the whole fucking pack?
Yes.
Like, come on now.
Smoke the whole pack.
That's fucked, man. Like, but yeah, I find the whole thing fucking, like, that's another indicator. And then, like, secrecy is another thing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, like, Scientology.
I was going to say, you're describing Scientology.
Yeah,
right
okay.
Now.
Fucking, I don't know if they believe there's an apocalypse coming.
Well, that's not for us to know.
We're
we
not
don't know like
that.
level 3 Thetans or whatever the fuck they call it.
But they do have secrecy. They do practice weird sex shit. And there's another thing that I've missed so far, and that's money.
Yeah.
If a cult, if any religious organization or any movement, like, watch out now, they'll call themselves a movement.
Yeah.
Okay. They want your money, and they want lots of it, and they want you to give up everything you have and sign it over to them.
Because otherwise you're actually a part of the system that is bringing about the Antichrist and the rule.
Do not subscribe to them.
Stop.
If they want all your fucking money and all your possessions, don't fucking go to them. They're a goddamn cult.
Yeah.
Okay? So yeah, that's the Children of God.
Scientology, real quick. Does it blow your fucking mind that they are allowed to operate as a religion? They're given tax-free status in most countries.
Oh, it blows my fucking mind.
Yeah. I mean, Sea Org.
Yeah, Sea Org.
Taking kids out on a boat or young people out on a boat. And I'm sure they don't still sexually abuse them on the boat. I'm sure that's not happening. That's how it started.
Yeah.
You know? They take them out there and they just diddle them, take their money, bring them back. There's a good video on YouTube that you guys can find of ex-Scientology members going around making YouTube videos, fucking with the Church of Scientology, where they're like, hey, we spent $150,000 each into this organization, and we realized that it's all bullshit, so we're going to save you $150,000. And they go into one, and they're like, hey, can you guys tell us, like, we're level whatever, Thetan, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And don't you think it'd be better if we told everybody about the problems with, like, Lord Xenu and how he's coming? And everybody freaks the fuck out because their belief is that if other people know about Lord Xenu that haven't reached that level, that it'll actually bring about the end of the world. So they're strong-arming these people, and then they send, like, an army of private investigators to harass them and gang stalk them. And it's not a cult, though. It's a religion.
Yeah, it's not a cult. It's a movement.
They shouldn't pay taxes.
Right. So, I got some other notable mentions in here. There's so many cults, it's hard to, like, get your mind around all of them. But I would say, like, the fifth indicator, which ultimately is the last indicator, I mean, that's when everybody decides it's a cult, is mass suicide. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, the Family International never committed mass suicide. They're still about.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. They're still around, right?
Maybe they should, though.
So, a couple notable mentions. There's the Ekinar. They're out of Wisconsin. I didn't read too much of them because it looked like a sham right off the bat. They believe that you could separate your soul from your body, which astral projection. That's nothing new. Right. They got criticized big time for plagiarism, and a lot of cults, like in the West, will do this thing where they take Eastern philosophies, kind of amend them, change the names a little bit, and then repackage it and say it's this new thing that was discovered. That's basically what Ekinar is. It's plagiarism. I mean, they've been accused of plagiarism. And the fact that the leader is the only person that has the ability to sell products for Ekinar makes me believe it's a sham.
Yes.
Another one out of Germany is called Ryalism. And it's basically like we talked about before with the Anunnaki. It's basically a religion built around the Anunnaki or ancient astronauts. Mm-hmm. Another big one that fits all the fucking parameters is Heaven's Gate. Heaven's Gate, man. They took it all the way. Yeah. Started by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles, right? Okay. Now, mind you, most of you probably, this isn't a lot of your lifetimes, the Heaven's Gate thing. Right. This is 39 members killed themselves outside of San Diego. Rented out mansion.
Are they still around?
There's 2 members still around that run the website.
Huh, they should have killed themselves too. They would
Well, they had to stay behind to run the website.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So they committed suicide when the Hale-Bopp comet was coming in because they believed that there was a spacecraft following the comet, and that when they killed themselves, they would be sent to the spacecraft, and then they'd be reunited with their bodies again.
So the only way to get there was to teleport via suicide.
Yeah,
Okay.
via barbiturates, vodka, and a plastic bag.
Well, I mean, I like vodka.
Like, they even, like, they found the bodies, like, a lot of people know this already, but they were all, like, wearing matching tracksuits with, like, brand new Nike kicks.
Ah, yes.
And they had these armbands that said, Heaven's Gate away team.
Nice.
And they believed that God was actually just a higher, like, level extraterrestrial.
Okay.
That he was, like, he was basically like Q from Star Trek The Next Generation. That's what I gather. Like, he's like a pan-dimensional being.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, they had different levels of how they were supposed to become to try to help ascend themselves to the next level. So they would do things like 10 of them, I think, 10 of the men in the group voluntarily castrated themselves.
Well,
They went to Mexico and got castrated because ascending meant you had to give up sex eventually, which you might think, wait, you said that sex was an indicator of a cult.
wait a minute.
And I did say that, but I didn't say necessarily sex in its physical form. I meant any form of, like, weird sexual proclivities.
Yeah.
And I would go ahead and put castration under weird sexual proclivities.
Whoever called that fucking magical decree definitely had his dick cut off by his parents. I'm telling you, it all begins.
Oh,
in
you
childhood.
should. I watched a couple videos of Marshall Applewhite. That dude was freaky.
Yeah.
You watch him, like, his eyes are fucking. They creep me out so goddamn bad. But
But if you took a picture of him pantsless, it would look exactly like a Ken doll. You couldn't tell the difference.
so if you guys want to learn more about Heaven's Gate, just as I want to put this in the notes, the website is still available.
Ooh.
You can buy literature. You
Okay.
can watch videos of Marshall Applewhite and his crazy ass. You can do all sorts of shit. And I wanted to mark one more thing about Heaven's Gate that I thought was cool. I mean, cool in the, like, historical sense.
Yeah. Huh. Neat.
I guess, okay, back in the day, they were underground for years, right?
Yeah.
They were underground since the 70s, and then next thing you know, they killed themselves, right? They secretly collected members to the group over the years and just, like, moved, like, campsite to campsite. They stayed completely off the grid. And when they left, and when they, like, went off the grid, it was actually noted by mainstream media. Like, Walter Cronkite mentioned it on a show that, like, 30-some-odd people just disappeared.
No problem.
And they're like, we don't know where they went. So just as a footnote.
So they're out there.
So if you ever watch the news and they say, like, 50 people disappeared, be like, it's okay. They were just part of fucking some weird fucking cult.
Till these fuckers come back in mass. They've got some sort of weird underground children of God marriage where they've repopulated, fucked up 2 generations of children, and they're ready to come at us as an army.
I was to say that, or the Hale-Bopp comet comes back and they return and fucking make them our overlords.
Riding moon hornets.
They were right!
Oh, no.
But yeah, so cults. Cults are weird. Cults are fucked up.
Yeah.
Don't join them because, you know, there's a lot of organizations out there that are willing to help you that don't have insidious purposes.
Yeah.
Like-
Sea Org.
Yeah, right?
Wait, no.
Like, people that... I mean, I hate saying this because you know how I feel, but most government organizations aren't actually trying to scam you. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
They might feel a little more indifferent than the cults. Like, here's the thing. Like, you know, I'm not saying anybody out there is boring, but if somebody is really, really interested in everything you say,
Yeah.
be wary.
Be just terrified.
Or if at least they look engaged enough to want to, like, look and talk to you for more than 10 minutes and you don't know them. Like, that's the thing. If a stranger comes up to you and wants to hear everything you say in the course of 10 minutes, be wary.
They're trying to sell you something.
Exactly. I mean, I went and bought a car recently, and that's the same thing.
Yeah.
They want something from you. So they're gonna try to make you look like the most interesting man in the world. Like Dos Equis.
Right.
For real.
Running through the streets of Spain with a beautiful dame and a baby pig.
Yeah, you could say some shit like, I like cheese, and they will talk about cheese for fucking 10 minutes.
Yeah. Let you know that they actually make cheese.
Yeah, that they actually make cheese at home.
Maybe if you listen to what they've got, they'll actually make cheese with you.
Yeah. Or anything else like that.
Anything at all.
But, yeah, just there's so many other organizations that are legit that aren't like this. And, you know, I could keep going on and on about these cults because, like, when I was starting to do the list, I wanted to focus on the Children of God. And then I started looking through the other ones, and I was like, well, some of these need mention. So I started reading through all of them. Like, some were like, you know, there's a ton going on today. There's like over 100 cults going on in the United States right now.
That we know about, yeah.
That we know about. And some of them are more like, you wonder, because they've been around, like, they call them cults, but they've been like these hippie communes that have been going on for like fucking 40 plus years. Mm-hmm. And nobody's killed themselves yet, and nobody's come out with weird child sex allegations. And there was one other organization I wanted to touch on, I find to be very cultish, and that's not the current Church of Latter-day Saints. I'm not talking about them. The normal Mormon church now.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, I think they're called the FLDR. Something about Latter-day Saints.
Keep talking, I'll look it up.
Google knows. They basically back in the day when the Mormons believed in a lot of weird shit like polygamy and stuff like that. When they finally realized that they had to join the mainstream and become something semi-normal, there was a schism in the church, and they split. One side was what we now know as the Church of Latter-day Saints, and the other one was this group that wanted to keep the old ways and believe in polygamy and all that still. Mm. These fuckers are weird. They marry children. End of story.
Game over.
And they run their organization like a fucking mafia.
Yeah.
Okay? So, be wary.
Be afraid.
They have sex with children.
I can't find it. All I can find is some liberation movement to help out Rwanda. So, they've gone underground. They've gone deep state.
Yeah. But, alright, so thank you, St. Catherine College Corner, for that topic. Thank you. It was a good one. Next up, we got one from Aaron the Red. Thank you, Aaron.
Yes.
Red
the Impaler.
Yeah, Red the Impaler. So, he gave us a scenario. Imagine that we've been exiled from the United States. Mm-hmm. That we cannot live in anywhere in North America.
Okay.
He asked us, where would we establish a new homestead, and why?
Well, is there another country that I could go to that will offer me free citizenship? I can do whatever I want and not go to jail. I can also get taxpayer-funded benefits.
Sweden.
And jump on the welfare wagon.
Sweden
it is.
Germany, Denmark, even England to an extent.
Will they allow me, though, because I'm white, not a Muslim? Or is it exclusive?
Say you're a refugee of the Trump regime and it's all over.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I picked one that's a little bit more like, they're a little bit tighter on their immigration, but I feel like if I worked through it and made them realize I was a good person, that they would let me stay. And also, I think it'd be a good country to live, and that's New Zealand.
I was going to say New Zealand?
New Zealand.
Question mark?
Yeah, because, one, it's about the same climate that I live in now. It's a temperate climate, has seasons.
Yeah.
Lots of flightless birds and seafood. And plus, they speak English. Like, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm cool with learning another language.
Yeah.
But I feel like after years or months and months and months of not hearing another person speak my native tongue, I would lose it.
Yeah.
I would just fucking lose it.
You would start a cult.
Yeah. I would start a cult of English-speaking people in Sweden.
Yeah.
I mean,
what else could you do?
Yeah. Basically what I'm saying is like, I'm not going to set up camp somewhere where I would feel like I would be persecuted.
No.
I mean, think about it. Like, anywhere in certain places in the world, I'm going to get my head cut off.
I want to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I'm going to get my fucking head cut off.
Yeah.
Like, you go in there, even if you just mention, like, like, what's your religious affiliation? I would probably say none, or agnostic, and I'd still get my head cut off. Mm-hmm. Just being indifferent gets your head cut off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm good on that. But I'd definitely say New Zealand. Plus, the Lord of the Rings was taped there.
Yeah. Nice. Visually appealing.
Yeah. And, plenty of wool. I like wool.
Yeah.
They got meat.
The flightless birds really sold me.
Exactly.
That's the selling point.
Did you know there's only one native mammal species to the islands of New Zealand?
What's that?
Bats. Everything else is birds.
Terrifying.
Flightless birds.
Yeah, I'm worried about bats.
But, now they have other animals because of people.
Yeah.
Like, they actually have a problem with, like, rats and cats and shit because they eat the fuck out of fucking bird eggs because these birds can't get off the ground. They got those little, like, kiwi-type birds. I think I'd be cool. I think, like, live in, like, Auckland or Wellington or something like that. Like,
yeah.
I think I could do it. I think I could cope with it. Like I said, they speak English, so at least I got one up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to live in England because I just don't fuck that. I mean, like, New Zealand still has tight gun laws, but they're not as tight as England's.
Right.
And I don't know, Australia, and this isn't a knock against New Zealand, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I would fit in better in New Zealand because I feel like Australia is just full of muscular, beautiful people.
Yeah.
And I feel like New Zealand might be a little bit more more regular looking folk. That's not a diss. That means I'd feel more at home with you guys than fucking beautiful blonde, Ubermen.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Constantly feeling inferior due to their
Exactly.
physical prowess.
When they're like, I went out and hunted some kangaroos over the weekend. And I'm just like, yeah, I play video games.
Yeah. You go to the bar and everybody in the bar.
Everybody's drinking Foster's and then I order a Coors and they all just look at me.
Yeah.
Stupid. You know what they call us? They call us, in Australia, they call American expatriates Seppos.
Huh.
For septic tank.
That's not very nice.
No, they're dicks. Because they say that we're full of shit.
Okay.
I found that out one day. I was on the thread. My cousin lives in Australia, and I was on the thread, and they called somebody a Seppo, and I was like, what the fuck is a Seppo?
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, you sons of bitches.
You were founded as a penal colony.
Yeah, go fuck yourselves.
Eat a dick.
Like, 3/4 of your fucking goddamn island is uninhabitable and full of deadly, venomous shit.
Yeah.
Go eat a dick.
You have like 2 cities
Yeah.
you can live in.
You have like 2 cities and desert.
Oh, I was just out, swimming in the ocean. I was killed by a fucking jellyfish. That's fine.
Go fuck a wallaby.
Yeah.
For real.
Bitch.
Like, that's why I want to live in New Zealand. I think they're a little bit more down to earth. I think people from Australia are full of themselves.
Yeah.
I feel like New Zealand would be a little bit more, like, on the level with the way I am. Like, cooler with me.
Just hearing that they have that term about us makes me want to make a movie about, like, a Brokeback Mountain in the bush. Portray all Australians as violent homosexuals.
Yeah. The Australians don't have guns either.
Yeah.
They had like one shooting. They had like one mass shooting and they were like, we're done. They tapped out. And like, since he said specifically, I can't live in North America, I can't even live in Canada, which I think I would be cool with living in Canada. Like Vancouver or something like that.
I think Canada's going to be our version of Europe, like our European northern neighbor, where eventually it's just overrun with Muslims that are burning the streets down.
They're not there yet, but the thing is like they're like hug-a-thon, like let's all be like culturally enriched by another people kind of shit is only going to go so far.
Right. Well, that's how it starts.
That's how it starts, but there's always pushback because like once you start getting into the differences in culture that are really bad, like let's talk about like Western culture and how it treats women,
right?
And Islamic, let's say classically speaking, I'm not trying to be like xenophobic here or nothing, but let's say classically speaking, how Islamic cultures treat their women,
yeah,
and how far each one has gone. Let's take off our glasses on this one, our fucking rose-colored glasses, and realize there is definitive fucking differences in the way we treat each. And don't give me that bullshit, well, we still treat our women with respect. Yes, but you also don't let your women drive cars and make them wear veils. Okay? Right. Or tell them what to wear. You tell them what to wear!
Yeah.
Come on!
Come on now.
Maybe, like, on the outside, aesthetically speaking, it doesn't look that much different, but the foundation is completely different.
I don't know why, but I've developed such a hard-on for, like, just criticizing the Muslim belief recently. I've been watching a lot of these videos, and I just want to start asking them, like, is it true that your prophet married a 6-year-old and then waited till she was a woman, of course, to have sex, but that happened at the age of 9?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Muhammad's favorite daughter was named Aisha. They married at 6, consummated at 9. You worship a child molester.
Yeah, more or less. But then they would say something like it was a different time, so But, I mean, there's still some... don't get me wrong. Western culture is not...
No.
There's still a lot of things wrong with it.
Nothing's perfect, right?
Nothing's perfect, but...
Do you worship somebody that fucked a kid?
No, I don't.
I don't either. That's what's funny.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we've made some fucking socio-evolution, leap, faith and a new way of life.
Okay, so our last topic. Thank you, Aaron, by the way.
Aaron.
So you got my answer, New Zealand. Did you say...
Yeah, I was going to say, that's what, if I had jumped in and interrupted you, I was going to say New Zealand question mark.
Yeah, New Zealand, definitely.
Yeah.
For flightless birds and seafood and temperate climate.
I would also say, I don't know, I'd lean more towards Australia until you told me that they had that vile mouth.
Yeah.
Calling me a seppo.
They call you a seppo.
Part of me would also enjoy Japanese culture.
They're weird sometimes, though, dude. And like I said, being around people that don't speak English for long enough would probably make me go crazy.
They're like a really good, down-to-earth people, though, when it comes down to it. I was reading and listening to a podcast about a guy that went over there, and he was just talking about some of the interactions he had with these people. That there's hardly any English speaking.
Yeah.
So there is that as an issue. But, like, he dropped his headphones on a busy street. Picture a Japanese New York City.
Yeah.
The amount of foot traffic going on. They were just little white earbuds for his Apple and his phone or whatever. He dropped them on the street. He didn't even know he dropped them. And some fucking Japanese guy across the street in an office building on the second story was, like, watching him. And saw that he dropped them, ran out of the building, grabbed the headphones, and then chased him into the building to return his headphones.
I mean,
that's on point.
I'll give one thing to the Japanese. If they're good at one thing, it's being able to accept new things and somehow be able to be cool with the new things, but also honor old culture.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of our problem right now is we're having growing pains with that.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have a problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, okay, Japan wouldn't be bad.
They still believe in honor suicide, too.
That's true.
Like that guy that was the head lead of the Fukushima project killed himself right after it happened because he knew that was the only way to regain his honor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, okay, I could see that. Last question comes from a new contributor. Ooh. And we're going to call them Peaches the Destroyer.
Okay.
I like that
Is
name.
that the name they wanted, or do they leave it up to us to decide?
That's the name they wanted.
Okay.
They wanted Peaches the Destroyer.
I'm fine with it.
So that's what I decided to call it. So that's what they are, Peaches the Destroyer.
Copy.
And they asked us, what is your preferred method of execution for yourself? And they also asked, what's the worst?
Preferred method would be opiates and alcohol.
Okay.
Worst would either be fire or electrocution.
Electrocution would be shitty. I would go with probably preferred if it was like a state form. I'm going to have to go with firing squad under the hope that they're all good shots.
Yeah. One of them doesn't shoot you in like the gut or something.
Or the dick. I don't want to be shot in the dick. Or hanging.
Yeah.
I think that would go quick too. I wouldn't want lethal injection. Something tells me it would hurt a lot. Getting your heart forcibly stopped would be a bad time. So, firing squad or hanging. I wouldn't like the guillotine. Too messy.
Yeah. Now, if you had to do the guillotine, would you rather have your head facing down or facing up?
Oh, down. I'll hear it, but I won't see it.
Yeah.
Because I'd be afraid, like, if I was looking at it and it started coming down, I would try to get my head through the hole, like, no.
Yeah, cut you off with the chin.
Yeah. And that's a bad time.
Fuck that.
It might not even go all the way through if it hits that jawbone. So, yeah, I'd say firing squad or hanging.
Yeah.
And the worst, well, I did a little look into see what some practices have been in the past. I'm talking some archaic shit that's not done anymore. I would say the French state form of execution for the better part of like 500 years was pretty nasty, and that was called the wheel. The wheel was, they would strap you to a big-ass wagon wheel. They would make sure that your arms and legs didn't match up with the spokes of the wheel, first of all. And then they would use a rock or some sort of blunt instrument to break your limbs.
Yeah.
And then leave you there, just to die slow of exposure and broken limbs. Sometimes, if you were lucky, they would give you what's called the blow of mercy, or as the French would say, the coup de grace, and would dash your head in and kill you quickly.
Well, we could all hope for that.
Yeah. Now, I would say the wheel would probably be the worst form of execution I can imagine. It is a slow, painful, terrible death.
Yeah.
I would also say that crucifixion would be fucking pretty gnarly too.
crucifixion without a spear of destiny to aid you in your fucking travels.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to sit there for, like, fucking a day or two and just, like, drown in my own fluids because my lungs are filling up.
Yeah.
Would be a bad time. Or, like, being impaled. Like, old Vlad Dracul, Vlad the Impaler liked to do.
Yeah.
Just run a spike up through you and just let you dangle there. I feel like that would be a bad time, too.
Fuck that.
But definitely, when my mind goes to worst forms of execution, the wheel would be the worst. I mean, think about it like this. The wheel was such an extreme version of execution that the guillotine was invented as a more humane form of execution in its place.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cutting one's head off with a device became the preferred mode of execution in France.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did that shit up through the 70s. The 1970s, mind you. I'd say that or crucifixion.
For sure.
Yeah.
See, that's why I went immediately to, like, the death of pleasure, you know? I'm going to go with, give me, like, a ever-increasing amount of opiates and just allow me to drink.
Yeah. Okay, basically you want to go Heaven's Gate style.
Yeah.
Barbiturates and vodka. Put a bag over your head.
Man.
See, here's the thing. This is how they did it. Like, not to go back to the cult thing, but I actually read on how they, like, went through the process of killing themselves. And what they do is, like, they lay you down in bed. You would take the barbiturates and drink the vodka. And you'd lay down and you'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then somebody else would come along while you were asleep and put a bag over your head to speed up the process.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't even know you had a bag on your head. I mean, I guess that wouldn't be bad. It just speeds up the process, that's all.
Fuck that. Let me go slow. I want to ride that creature from the Neverending Story.
You want to ride Falcor?
Yeah, the feather dog.
Yeah.
Let me ride him all the way out of space.
You know? Like, you want to be that kid at the end of Neverending Story, like, riding Falcor into the fucking sunset, like, yeah!
Yeah, exactly. If I had to go, let me go like that.
But yeah. So, thank you, Peaches the Destroyer, for that question.
Loving this.
Yeah.
I want to end this segment with a new thing that I thought of that I forgot to mention to you.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, just punch me in the face.
Okay.
And let everybody hear it. Yeah. I want to start doing a suggestion of the week.
Okay.
And if people like it or hate it, they should tell us how it affected their life.
Yeah.
In the time that we spend away from them.
Exactly.
This one is one that I gave to you not too long ago. This week's suggestion, I would suggest that all of you listeners out there go to YouTube and check out the interview of Scott Adams on the Tim Ferriss podcast. Just listen to the first part of it where he talks about written affirmations. For the next 7 days, try it out in your own life.
Yeah.
And see what happens. See how it makes you feel. See how it affects your thought process.
I do written affirmations. Yeah. I think they help.
Do you feel like it's added new flavor to your life?
Oh, definitely.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Well, I think that's the end of the show. We'd like to thank you guys for listening. And thank you, Ryan Simpson, for letting us use your music in our show.
Beautiful bastard.
And we'd like to thank Jess, St. Catherine, and Evelyn for their contributions to our Patreon page. Just as a reminder, go to our Patreon page and check it out if you want.
Beginnings of a new life. It's exciting.
And by the time this podcast drops, I wouldn't say it's probably up yet, but we'll let you know on the next show. But our website is going to be up soon as well.
Ooh.
So we want you to take a look at that. I'm not going to give you the link yet because I don't have it. But I'll let you know on the next show where to go to. And we'll talk to you next week.
We love you.
We really do.
against the corner, I can feel your eyes. If I fall in the dark, will you help me to my feet? Take my hand and help me stand, or will you forsake me? You know I need you now. But you're nowhere to be found. Old man, I'm talking to you. You know you never come Once the realization comes that no one's at the end, it all seems to make so much sense, but sometimes it hurts to comprehend. It seemed as though you left me here, screaming alone in the rain. But really, you were never there. I only have myself to blame. You know it's over now. Your image but a shroud. 'Cause now I know the truth. No one's there to come Take a breath, boy, and raise your head. It's time to face the truth.